And now back to Bobby Likis Car Clinic and your host, Bobby Likis.
Let's go to Kelly. Kelly, thanks for holding. Welcome to Bobby Likis Car Clinic. Glad to have you in the house.
Yes, I have a '07 Ram 2500,
Okay.
6.7 diesel,
Yes, sir.
6-speed automatic. After it gets warmed up real good, when I'm pulling the trailer, it's got a jolt in it, a real quick jolt. I thought I was missing, but I've had it on the scanner twice, and they can't find nothing in the engine at all that says it's missing.
Well, let me ask a question. This jolt, you're saying that describe this jolt. At what speed and under what acceleration parameters does this jolt happen?
Anytime on a grade where it's calling for some more power, or when you're accelerating, it's just a real quick jolt, like a hesitation, but it's real quick. And like I said, I thought it was a miss, but the scanner says there's nothing wrong with the engine. The scanner also says that the torque converter is working correctly, and it also says that the power going into the transmission and the power coming out of the transmission is the same.
How many miles on the engine?
Less than 70,000.
Wow. Well, that's just a baby.
Yeah, that's my going to town Sunday pickup.
So you and I are in the truck, and we're going and we're towing, and we're going 50 miles an hour, and we come to a little grade. We're on level ground. Of course, it runs well on level ground, right?
After you get it warmed up good, once in a while you can feel it on level ground. You can never feel it without pulling a trailer until you pull a trailer, and then after you pull the trailer, you can feel it.
Well, my concern is that it's a drivetrain issue and not an engine issue, because that's where I'm trying to, there's more load, of course, on the engine, but diesel engines aren't prone to misfire. They're prone to...
That's what their scanners can shine nothing on the engine.
Exactly, and besides, they don't have spark plugs that misfire under load. They don't have ignition coils that misfire. Once they fire up and run, literally, it's a fuel distribution that creates the power. So because it's an oil burner, that's what it is. It burns.
But their scanner doesn't show anything on the transmission as far as the
I see what you're saying.
Torque converter and the in and out power.
Well, Kelly, have you taken a technician for a ride? Have you taken someone that's in the business?
Yes.
Okay, and this person's in the business. They're certified.
Yes.
They're qualified.
Yes, they use the same scanner as Dodge does.
And they rode with you, and they felt
we rode up and down the 4-lane probably for 3 hours.
Jeez. Well, did he feel it?
Yes.
And no comment?
No, we can't. He can't figure it out.
Well, let's put this out to the audience, because surely there has to be. Now, folks, here we're talking with Kelly in Kansas that has a 2007 Ram 2500 diesel. And it has a serious, and when you say a jolt, it's just like something interfered with the drive shaft. It goes boop, and it.
Yeah, but it's real quick. It's kind of like
right.
Almost like you ran over something on the highway.
Yeah, right.
Real quick,
I got you.
Real quick.
So it's as though something tries to lock up, and actually. Of course, if it were a transmission, it wouldn't be that quick and turn loose. If something did lock up in the transmission, by now it would have destroyed itself or broken, I would think. As far as the engine misfiring, when I think of diesels and today's diesels, the first thing that comes to mind is the EGR system, because when you open a hood, especially on, I guess because we get a lot of Fords in our shop, when you open the hood of a Ford and look at the diesel's covered up with emissions everywhere. It has the turbo hoses everywhere. It has EGR coolers and valves everywhere. And to that end, Ford has had some issues with EGR coolers that use coolant to cool the EGR. Unfortunately, you've got water-lined exhaust, and what happens is they will leak and they will get water into inside the engine, and you can hydrolock. I've actually seen that happen. You can hydrolock those engines. But your Ram is not in that in that same category. Having said that, it does have emissions controls, but you would think there would be some sort of emissions light on, check engine light, or at least some code in the system. So for those of you out there, and we do have technicians who are diesel specialists, and in fact, I have one in-house, Johnny Bars. So if you happen to be listening, Johnny Bars, you give us a call. Better yet, we've got Lee. I knew that if I stall long enough, we'd have someone. So let's do a conference, push conference. And we're going to welcome, and Kelly, you stay right there. We're going to welcome, and Kelly is in Kansas. We're going to welcome Lee from Oregon. Lee, I understand you have some information that might help Kelly.
Yeah, it's this. Hello.
Hello,
it's
you're on the air.
Yoke of the drive shaft that slides onto the output shaft of the transmission.
Right.
So he's going to have to pull the drive shaft.
Okay, wait.
Splines.
You were covered up first. You're saying it's a splined slip yoke on the drive shaft that he's feeling this.
Yeah, it's the stiction.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, the stiction lets go, and he gets that bang in the seat of his pants.
Well, let me ask a question. I'm very familiar with that stiction, but normally that happens when you pull up to a traffic light and the rear of the car goes back.
Right.
And the drive shaft stays back, and then you let off the brake, and then that pressure, boom, pushes it forward, and it feels like somebody hit you in the rear of the bumper.
Yes, that's correct. I'm familiar with that as well, but I believe this is of the same nature. Whereas he said that it only happens when he's got it with the trailer on.
Right.
So
under a load.
That puts even more pressure.
Yes.
Just as if, we copied your situation with the stoplight.
Right.
So how come it doesn't do it till it's warm?
He's stretching the drive shaft backwards, and all of a sudden it lets go of its, we'll call it rusty nature.
Yeah, right. Got you there.
And then all of a sudden it lets go and he gets that bang.
Okay, all right, now
so if he takes it apart, cleans the splines, inside splines, outside splines.
Yes.
And make sure that there's no little nicks and such and so forth.
Right.
And clean it, like brake clean or something.
Sure.
And then blow it dry, and then put that outboard motor grease that's really super gooey, waterproof, almost looks like Vicks or petroleum jelly.
Yeah, something with EP
color.
Quality, yes.
And then put that in there, that's waterproof grease, I call it.
Okay, Lee, hold on just a minute. Kelly, you had a problem or a question?
Yeah, how come it would only do it when it's warmed up then?
Well, temperature, that's
that
just...
could be.
Yeah, that could be.
It's worth a try.
Yeah,
that's
it's worth
all
a try.
I'm saying. That's my phone call.
Yeah, that's a cheap fix, yes.
Yeah, it is. It'd be great. Lee, thank you so much for your input.
You're welcome, fellas.
Thank you, sir. That's really cool. I love to do that. And folks, just for you to understand, and Kelly, you understand exactly what he's talking about?
Yeah, I just need a good lube job. Clean it up and lube it up.
Yeah, but the lubricant that you use must be high EP quality, which means extreme pressure quality. And Ford used to make some Teflon-based lubricant that we use because this was in the 70s, this was a rampant problem with Ford pickup trucks and with standard pickup trucks, and still continues to this day. So he mentioned outboard, the car place is not going to have the grease that he's talking about, but what they will have is they'll have a lubricant that is made for impact tools or differentials that have positive traction gear, but we're not looking for an oil here. We're looking for a paste. I'll tell you what.
Okay.
Here's what you might do. Here's what you should do. Go to O'Reilly Auto Parts. You got O'Reilly Auto Parts there in Kansas?
Yep.
Go to O'Reilly Auto Parts. Talk to the counterman at O'Reilly Auto Parts. These people, they're in this every day. They help shops every day. I know because I have one just down the street that does a great job for us. So go to O'Reilly Auto Parts. Talk to the parts counterman. Remember, the counterman, that's what they're called. And ask him, what is the best lubricant that you have? And it'll probably come in a tube versus a can that has EP qualities, extreme pressure qualities, like are used in wheel bearings or positive traction and gear oils. And Kelly, thank you so much for your call, and good luck. Let me know when you get to the other side if that fixed it, and we'll share that with our Oregon caller as well. In the meantime, folks, you stay right there. We'll be back.